Good evening. Here's your latest insider report from the New American, September 12th, 2025. Charlie Kirk assassinated in Utah. Turning Point's USA founder Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Orem, Utah, a single rifle shot to the neck from long distance ended the life of one of the most prominent young conservative voices in America. No suspect has been identified yet, but it was clearly a calculated professional attack. Kirk, just 31 years old, was known for debating controversial issues that many on the right were afraid to touch, like transgenderism, gender ideology, and Christian values. He had massive influence on college campuses and was considered second only to Donald Trump in terms of leftist animosity. This assassination may mark one of the most high-profile killings of a conservative figure in U.S. history. Let us pray it is not the first of many. Even the New York Times admits it. The old climate activist playbook no longer works. That was their headline, not the New Americans. The climate narrative is crumbling due to rising energy costs, blackouts, and public backlash against unstable power grids. A Daily Skeptic article summed it up. The tide is turning decisively against net zero. People are waking up to the contradictions and the enormous costs of so-called green energy. Senator Rand Paul is speaking out. He's not happy with Trump's recent strike that destroyed a boat suspected of carrying Venezuelan gang members. Trump said the strike targeted terrorist narco gang members approaching U.S. waters, but Paul questioned the legality and the lack of clear evidence. 2,700 miles away isn't exactly a threat to U.S. shores, he noted. He also cast doubt on whether the drugs were even headed to the U.S. A federal judge in California blocked the Trump administration's attempt to revoke temporary protected status for thousands of illegals. This, despite a Supreme Court ruling in May that gave the green light to end TPS protections. Judge Edward Chin defied that ruling, claiming it didn't apply to his new decision. This kind of judicial activism threatens to undermine the entire court system and keep Biden-era policies locked in place. But it won't work. In Nepal, young protesters clashed with government forces after a China-style ban on Western social media. The communist prime minister banned Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Riots followed. At least 22 young people were killed. The parliament building was set on fire, and the prime minister, he fled the country. Nepal has now reversed the social media ban and may be turning away from communism altogether. France's government collapsed again. For the third time in just over a year, mass protests are growing, led by both the radical left and nationalist right. President Macron appointed a new prime minister, but pressure is mounting for him to resign. France may be facing a political revolution. Despite the success of Libertarian President Javier Milei, voters in Buenos Aires overwhelmingly chose socialism. Milei's economic reform sparked a turnaround, but Peronist candidates won 47% of the vote. Markets tumbled, and Milei may be on his way out. Once again, Argentina flirts with disaster. You see the need of an educated electorate. In a rare win for the Constitution, California has rescinded every one of its Article 5 convention calls, dating back as far as 1911. This includes a 1949 push for world government, a 2014 attempt to limit free speech, and a 2023 gun control amendment effort. Now is the time for other states to follow suit. Contact your legislators, ask them to rescind their own CON applications. President Trump issued an executive order mandating classical architecture for new federal buildings. Modernist and brutalist designs are out. Traditional federal-style buildings are back. The founders believed architecture reflects national values, and the public agrees. A recent poll showed 72% of Americans prefer traditional architecture for civic buildings. Architecture matters because culture, history, and liberty go hand in hand. The Senate is fast-tracking Trump's executive appointments using what's called the nuclear option. A new resolution allows votes on multiple nominees at once, starting with 48 names. This may help Trump staff his administration more quickly. But critics warn it also gives Democrats a tool to do the same in the future. The real issue isn't speed. It's that the federal government has far too many political appointments due to its bloated size and unconstitutional power. And that's your Insider Report for September 12th. Stay informed, stay engaged, and keep standing for truth.